Did you know that you can do so much with these Dollar Tree wire baskets? In this video, I'm going to show you 6 DIYs, home decor that you can do. I'm telling you, you're going to be amazed, especially with the last one. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Now let's get started. So I'm going to show you how to create this side table. Take a wire basket, a flower pot, some colored gems, 3 clear round trays, super glue and hot glue the 3 round trays, super glue and hot glue the gems on top of the tray. Be creative and create your own design. Use the flower pot as your base and then super glue the wire basket on top. Next, spray paint it the color of your choice. Add some super glue around the top of your wire basket and then place your jeweled tray. For this next project, I'm going to show you how to create this outdoor garden tote. You'll need another wire basket from Dollar Tree, some moss sheets and also moss, some nautical rope, some floral wire. I'm going to be using the wire from this wire basket. So what I'm going to do is cut off the top and bottom rim, and I'm going to be using my wire cutters to do that. You can use some scissors, but since I already have the wire cutters, I'll be using them. If you've seen some of my other videos, I have used the scissors before and they're very easy to use on this wire. Next, I'm just going to flatten out the wire mesh and then I'm going to cut one side. That way I have one whole panel of mesh. Next, I've laid down the moss sheet on top of the mesh and I'm going to be outlining it and then cutting out that piece. And I'll be repeating that same step because I'm going to need 2 of these mesh panels the same size. Okay, so now that I have my 2 mesh panels, what I'm going to do is sew the edges using some wire. And I'm just going to sew the sides and also the bottom, and I'm just going to leave the top open. Now I am using this red wire because I forgot that I had some floral wire. So if I would have remembered, I would have used that instead. You are going to have some spaces where you don't have the little loop so that you can wrap the wire, but you can just go on to the furthest one that does have the loop and then just wrap the wire. And this is how it looks with the one-time layer stitching. I am going to go back and give it a second stitching just so that it can have good reinforcement. Okay, so now I'm done stitching the edges. And what I'm doing here is kind of trying to spread the 2 panels apart because I do want it to form sort of like a little basket, even though it is going to be a tote. But I just want it to be spread out and not to squish together, if you know what I mean. And I also have to make room for the moss sheets. Now I'm ready to slip in the moss sheets, and I thought I was gonna have to trim them, but I didn't have to. I just kind of had to maneuver them around until they were able to slip in. And I was able to do the same thing to the other side. Now I wanted to make sure that the floral sheets would fit in there, so now I'm just gonna take it out and I'm going to go and spray paint it with the granite color. Now if you have a piece of chicken wire, that would also look amazing, but since I didn't have any, that's why I opted for this mesh and then spray painting it with that granite color and trying to achieve the color of some chicken wire. Now for the handles for my tote, I'm going to be using this nautical rope, and I cut one long piece and I'm going to be needing enough rope to form handles up at the top. Next, I'm going to tie both ends together, and I'll be using some wire for that. Now, I'm going to be using the red wire that I had on hand, but you can use any wire will do. As you can see, I wrapped it around a few times. And now I'm just going to place the basket over my rope just to make sure that the handles were long enough. And now I'm just gonna sponge on some silver paint just to give the color just different dimensions from the deeper gray to the silver gray. Okay, so now I'm ready to start assembling my tote, and I'm gonna start by slipping in both of the moss sheets. And this is what the inside looks like. Now you can add some potting soil and some real plants if you'd like, but I'm gonna go ahead and just use some fake flowers because I do want to be changing out my floral decor on this tote. And here I want to show you that I ended up painting the wire with some black paint because I didn't like the way the red looked. And now I'm ready to attach the handles onto my basket, and I'm just going to place the basket over the rope and then bring the handle over the basket, and then you create two handles for the tote. So now I'm going to attach the handles, and I'm going to be using some floral wire to attach my rope, and I'm just going to thread it through the mesh and then over the rope and then tie it on the back side. It's kind of hard to see, but that's what I'm going to be doing to the top corners of each of the rope. And here I'm just pointing out to you how it looks. I'm done attaching the top handles, as I'm showing you right there. You can also add some wire down here at the bottom. I opt not to. I went ahead and I left it as is. And this is how my tote is looking so far. I think it's absolutely adorable. Now I'm gonna fill it up with some flowers, but I'm gonna start by adding some plastic bags. That way they can act as fillers. Like I said earlier, you can add some potting soil if you want to use some real flowers. And now I'm gonna cover up those plastic bags by using some regular green moss. And now I'm gonna start filling up my tote with my flowers, and I am using the red, white, and blue theme for the 4th of July. This is how it turned out. I think it turned out adorable. This looks really nice as a 4th of July garden decor, but I also have another way that you can decorate the tote. And here's just another idea that you can decorate your tote with some just regular little flowers, and I've also added some little butterflies, and these are all from Dollar Tree. And for this next project, I'm going to show you how to create a K-cup storage bin. I'll be using this Dollar Tree wire basket, and this one is the round one, not the oval one. A round cake pan, a wreath door hanger. I'll be using the coffee sticker from this wall sticker collection. Chandelier 2X Ultra Cover spray paint in the color Canyon Black. The first thing that I'm going to do is remove those two metal circles using my needle nose pliers. I created a handle using that door hanger, and what I did is just bent it until I was able to create this handle for my K-cup storage bin, and I'm going to place it right along the side right here. Okay, so I've placed both hangers side by side just so that you can see. Now the hanger, I was able to twist it and bend it because it's very flexible. And here I'm just pointing out the end that I used to start bending and just giving it that curve that I was needing. So here I'm just showing you how easy it is to bend it and curve it as you want it to go. I apologize for not having the video to show you exactly how I did it, but here I'm just giving you an idea as to what I did. I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece off the handle because it's a little bit too long, and I'll just be using my needle nose pliers again, and I'm just going to bend the metal back and forth until it breaks off. So what I'm going to do is super glue the handle on the underside of the cake pan, and then I'll be placing my basket on top of the cake pan just like so. And I'll be going in with a black marker just to mark off where I'm going to place my handle at. Now I'm ready to add the E6000 and then place my handle, and then I'll be taping it down with some painter's tape and leave it like that overnight. It's the next day and the handle is adhered well on the cake pan. Okay, so now I'm going to place my basket on top of the pan, and I'm going to more or less just eyeball it where it's going to be pretty much centered. And then once again, using my black marker, I'm going to go around the basket to make a marking where I'm going to need to glue it down. Next, I'm going to take some E6000 and put it along the underside of the basket. This is going to be kind of tricky so the basket doesn't move, but I'm going to place it now down on the basket, and then I'm just going to move it around and make sure that it's within the marking that I made, and then just hold it down. And as I continue to hold it, I'm going to start adding some hot glue all around the base bottom of the basket. And I'll continue to hold it down until I see that the hot glue has hardened. I also added some glue in the center of the basket. And to give the handle some reinforcement, I'm going to add some of that black wire up at the top of the handle and then just wrap it around the basket. And just to give the handle some extra hold, I went ahead and I added some hot glue up where the wire was at on the back side. Now that everything is glued in place, now I'm going to take it outside and spray paint it with the black spray paint. I'm also going to take this outside and spray paint it with the white spray paint. Okay, so the paint has dried in this round cardboard structure. I'll be removing now the coffee sticker, and I'll be placing it in the center of my round circle. So now that the black paint has dried on my K-cup storage bin, this is how it's looking so far. Next, I'm going to be hot gluing my coffee sign to the front of my storage bin. Working on the inside of the basket, once that I have my coffee sign in place, I'm going to be hot gluing it as I'm holding it, and also add a piece of popsicle stick to reinforce it in place. I actually used 3 pieces of popsicle sticks, and I covered them up just so that it would look nice and finished. I use the chalkboard tags for that, but you can use any black paper to cover them up if you choose to. For this next project, I'm going to show you how to create this egg basket. I'm going to use a white wire basket, some wood letters that are going to spell out eggs, and some nautical rope. I'm going to start by adding some hot glue and wrapping the nautical rope around the handle. Adding this nautical rope is such a simple thing to do, but I think it gives it such a nice farmhouse touch to it. I didn't show this, but I did spray these letters with some black spray paint. I'm going to be adding these wooden letters to the front of the basket, and what I'm doing here is kind of flattening out the wire. That way I can hot glue the letters and they'll lay down better. It's kind of hard to see what I'm doing here, but What I did is place the letter in front of the wire, and then I went behind with the hot glue and added the glue to the wire and to the wood. That way the letters could adhere better. I hope that it makes sense and that I'm explaining it correctly. And here's a close-up, and I'll be doing the same thing to the rest of the letters. And here are all the letters on the basket. The S is a little bit off, but I think that it still looks really nice. And here's another idea how you can use these small baskets in your bathroom. Dollar Tree carries two shapes, the round one and the oval one. I'll be using the oval one for this project. Okay, so I started off with my wire cutters to get a very precise cut, and then I'm going to proceed with just regular scissors. This is what I mean about precise. I want to cut just above the tip right there as I'm pointing it out to you. The reason that I'm doing that is because I want the edge to look the same all the way around. The great thing about these wire baskets is that they are very soft and pliable, so scissors work great on them. Okay, once I'm done cutting, I'm just showing you here what a nice clean edge I have all the way around the basket. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is start to curve the edge. Now I'm going to be using this glue stick right here just so that it can be my guide. You don't have to use a glue stick, you can use a pencil, just anything that's round, or you can just use your fingers just to curve the edges. And I'm going to continue going all the way around until I have the desired look that I'm looking for. I know that they have some really nice wire baskets out there, but I thought that making one for $1, you couldn't beat that, so that's why I made my own wire caddy basket. And this is how the basket looks once I'm done with it. Next, I'm going to add the silver pumps to my dispensers. And this is how they turned out. That I want to try to recreate is this lamp right here from Anthropologie, and this costs $268 on their website. And this is mine right here, and it cost about $5 give or take. Using this wire basket from Essentials. I think this basket has a perfect shape for a lampshade. And I'll be using about 2 rolls of this Crafter Square twine, one of these LED portable lamp bulb, some spray paint from Rust-Oleum, and this is in the metallic gold color. And I'll be using the chain from this plant hanger. And I'll be using this cream color yarn that I've had for a while. The first thing that I'm going to do is take this basket and chain outside to go spray paint it with the gold spray paint. While the spray paint was drying, I made all these tassels, and I made about 30 of them. And this is how I made mine. Now I'm going to be using this ink stamper just because it's almost as wide as my 4 fingers. You can also use a piece of cardboard. Okay, so I started by bringing the piece of yarn over the ink stamper, and then I'm going to wind it around 30 times. And then I'm going to cut the yarn, and then I'm going to slip the bundle of yarn off, and then I'm going to hold it up at the top. And then with a piece of yarn, I'm going to tie it up at the top. Next, I'm going to lay another piece of yarn on the table, and then I'm going to lay my bundle across it, and then bring the 2 ends together and tie a knot. And then turn it over and tie another knot. And then I'll put my fingers through the circle. And then lastly, I'll cut the bottom of the circle. Next, I'm going to cut the fringe, and I'm going to go in a straight line as best as I can. And this is my way of making these tassels. Okay, so the paint is dry on my basket and I'm ready to start working on it. Since I'm going to be covering the basket with twine, I need to see how long the twine needs to be to cover it from top to bottom. Because the twine is too thin, I'm going to have to get several strands together. So I'm going to gather about 10, give or take. Next, I'm going to hot glue that bundle up at the top of the basket, which really is the bottom of the basket, but when it becomes a lamp, it'll be the top, if that makes sense. This DIY was the one that was very challenging. Now I started to cover the lampshade using this technique first, and then you're going to see a little bit later on where I had to change up the technique. And then I went down a little bit more and I put some more hot glue on the basket, and then I would lay the bundle down flat. And then when I got to the bottom, I put some more hot glue and then I curled the twine around the bottom rim. And then once I curled it under, I went to the underside and I put some more hot glue, and then I finished it off by curling it in with my scissors so I wouldn't burn myself. That technique was going to take too long, so what I decided to do is just weave the twine from the top to the bottom of the basket. And then every so often I would put a dot of hot glue and then bring the string over and continue to weave it around. And this is how it's looking so far. I'm going to continue doing this until I'm completely done. After 2 hours or so, this is how it turned out. You don't have to do this, but I decided to add some nautical rope up at the top and the bottom just to trim it off. And then I put a second layer of nautical rope up at the very top. And now I started to add the little tassels, and because I couldn't pass the string through the bottom because there was glue, I had to hot glue the tassels all around the bottom rim. This is how it looks once I was done adding all the tassels. Next, I'm going to be attaching this LED light. I ran a piece of wire up at the top of the light, and now I'm going to attach it to my lamp. Once I ran it through the wire, I just pinched it with my fingers and I brought the wire together. And then lastly, I hooked on the chain to the top with the hooks that the chain already had. Well, that's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up and also share. I'd really appreciate it. You have yourself a blessed day. And until my next video, bye-bye and God bless.